The donut. The most simple but easily the most recognizable bakery treat in the world. Deep-fried goodness flavored to perfection, this delectable treat has evolved, changing in shape, flavor, and style, becoming a worldwide culinary phenomenon. Yeast-based or cake-based, but always deep-fried if you want to stay true to its roots. The donut has changed, with bakeries across Greater Toronto Area taking their own unique approach to it. But no two donuts are created equally, so I set out to find the best donut makers in the Toronto area. And my search first brought me to a small little place out in the suburbs in Mississauga.
Have you ever met Miss Lindy? She's a gal.
This might look like a 50s milkshake bar, but it's actually Daddy-O Donuts, located right on the Mississauga-Toronto border, just off of the QEW. Meet Sarah Harris, my favorite red-haired Betty Page resembling gal behind the magic and owner of this fine establishment.
Okay, so tell me about how Daddy-O Donuts began.
My dad was a baker when he was younger in England. One of the things that my parents always did with me when we were younger was baking. It was always a big part of our family. And because my dad worked in a bakery, he never made anything on a small scale. Everything was on a large scale. We all kind of took part in the process, and it was always something that my parents always encouraged us to do. Whatever they were making, they would give us a little piece of the dough or whatever that we could play with. And my love for donuts really kind of started when I had kids. I had a craving for jelly donuts, and I couldn't find anything in any store or any fast food place that was like a jelly donut that I was used to that my dad made, which was a traditional English round jam donut that had sugar on the outside and jam on the inside. So my sister and I, out of boredom, she got a deep fryer and we were like, let's make donuts. So we started making donuts for the Port Credit Farmers Market. And it took off. We had a lot of people that told us it was a donut like their grandmother made. For me, that made me feel good because I'm like, that's exactly what it meant to me. It was what my dad made.
So what makes your donuts so special?
There's a lot of love that goes into our donuts. We hand make a lot of our fillings and toppings. Everything is made in store. We feel that, you can really taste the difference.
And do you hear stories about people coming from really far away to have your donuts?
Our customers come from all over the GTA. They come from Windsor, they come from London. People that came in rush hour from Oshawa, which I was like, wow, that's a drive in the morning. I had one customer who regularly brought them to her family in Calgary. They'd go to Banff and bring donuts, and I had one customer that brought them to her family member in the Philippines, and she requested specific donuts.
Resilient, cosmopolitan, maybe a bit rough around the edges in a few places. A lot of words can be used to describe our next top donut destination. Formerly known as Steel City, but known among locals as the Hammer, this city is undergoing massive changes. With an influx of Toronto refugees fleeing skyrocketing real estate prices, the Hammer is shedding its old reputation as an industrial steel town and becoming the newest destination for artists, creatives, and new wave restaurateurs. It's also home to the one and only Donut Monster, whose donut flavor combinations are a simple stroke of genius, all while using carefully selected local ingredients. Meet Ruben, owner of Donut Monster and also the co-founder of the Kitchen Collective.
Well, tell me about how Hamilton has evolved and how your shop has evolved as well.
Sure. Donut Monster started as a wholesale-only type of donut shop where I sort of called it a donut shop without a shop. And I had friends who operated coffee shops and cafes in Hamilton, and I could sell them donuts, and it was a product that wasn't a product that they could make on their own because it took specialty equipment to do it. It's evolved from there, like 1 or 2 or 3 shops at the beginning to over 20 shops now that we supply with donuts, and then we also have our own space.
How do you come up with all the unique and cool flavors you have?
From the beginning, I've tried to stay away from like classic donut flavors. I usually try to combine 2 different flavor profiles together to create something new or different or something that you don't normally see in a donut. Usually starting from like combining an herb and a berry, or combining something spicy and something sweet, or just taking a different dessert and converting it into a donut. For a long time, my favorite was the baklava donut, which had orange blossom flavor and honey and cinnamon and nuts and all of this combined, and just sort of took you on a journey while you're eating it.
So what makes the Donut Monster donut so special?
I mean, we obviously make everything from scratch, which is something that more and more shops are doing, but that definitely sets us apart from some of the larger donut brands. And we focus on unique and interesting flavors that they're not necessarily traditional donut flavors or something that you see all the time. And the ingredients that we use are sourced as locally and organically as possible.
But every country and culture has its own version of their version of a donut. What's your earliest memory of a donut?
So my background is Dutch, so from Holland, and the Dutch people make oliebollen. And that's a fried dough that usually has raisins and apples in it and is coated in icing sugar. and my family's been making those since I was a kid.
So anything exciting coming up in 2019 for the Donut Monster?
Yes, we're looking at making our donuts available outside of Hamilton on a regular basis.
Very nice. So stay tuned.
Our next destination keeps us in the suburbs, but brings us closer to the waterfront in Burlington. Go for a walk on the beautiful waterfront pier, then look for the giant donut in the sky, because it's connected to the best donut shop in town, the Sunshine Donut Company.
So what makes your donuts so special?
So everything we do is from scratch, the old-fashioned way. We don't use any mixes or anything like that, no fancy machinery. We do everything by hand, we punch everything. Our donut process is a 4-hour process. And when you taste one of our donuts, you can really tell the love and the time and the care that we put into it.
So I see a lot of unique flavors. How do you come up with all those cool flavors for the donuts?
So Bart Nadherney, he's the owner. He is a chef and is actually really good at inspiring us to use locally sourced seasonal ingredients. So we base our menu off of what's available to us at that time, and then also pair it with nostalgic and then unique kind of flavor combinations. There's actually a wonderful, super busy market that happens at Burlington Mall, and it happens in the summer and the spring. And we kind of just go there, and if we see something that's really beautiful, really ripe and fresh, we kind of get inspired by that and then base our menu items off of there. During the off season, if we have to run any fruit flavors, we use a wonderful purveyor that actually sources all of their produce from 100 kilometers.
Oh, okay, very nice. So per capita, Canada has the most donut shops. Why do you think we love donuts so much?
I don't know for sure, but I have a theory. In Canada, it's cold for like 5 months out of the year, and it just makes sense to me that Canadians would like donuts because when it's cold, you want comfort food. So what is a better comfort food than like a doughy pillow of happiness?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
So as you can see, there's no shortage of amazing donut options right outside of the 416. Make sure that you visit each of these places the next time you head west of Toronto. And make sure that you follow and subscribe to this channel for more food adventures too. Happy donut hunting!